Time now to hear from the lead singer of Deaf Effects, who have recently done a reunion tour. And just a little while ago at the Adelaide airport, I caught up with the one and only Fiona Horne for a bit of a chinwag. Oh, she was waiting for a plane. You're listening to Radio Adelaide. Welcome, well, goodbye to Adelaide.
Yes, good morning and goodbye.
The start of the national tour last night, back with the boys, be honest, how are they?
The boys are great. It's funny getting back on the road and just that whole banter that goes on. There's a really unique kind of camaraderie that touring bands share, and it's funny to sort of come back to it. They're good. I mean, you know, they're all hungover as hell this morning, but I'm not, so it's all good.
Health kick has got a lot to do with your lifestyle, you're getting fit. I guess the other thing is you're falling out of the air as well.
I do skydive and I also fly planes, so I stopped drinking and all that kind of stuff a year ago, pretty much, and it's a real lifestyle improvement, enhancement. Like, it's just, I couldn't operate heavy machinery at altitude, i.e. fly planes, let alone jump out of them if I was always feeling rotten and not clear in my head. So yeah, it's a great lifestyle shift, and I always have enjoyed things like yoga and alternative spiritual practices and healthy eating, but now combining it all with a definitive attitude towards substances. I don't take them anymore. It's a really beautiful, healing and enriching life experience.
The last time we spoke, Los Angeles was kicking you in the guts a little. How's that going?
LA's great because I left it. I actually, you know, I spent over a decade there, and I was going back there last year and starting to do TV shows again and all this, and I was like, why am I doing this? I did it. You know, I was on billboards up and down Sunset. I was on every bloody TV show, Good Morning America, whatever, in the country. I was like, why am I doing this again? I was the world's favourite witch, you know. And witches are getting really popular in media over there and in entertainment again. It's coming through that second or third wave, whatever it is. But I was just ready for a change. So as I embark upon the second half of my life at the age of 47, I am embracing a career in aviation. So I fly single engine land. I'm a certified private pilot out of the US FAA, but I have flown in Australia. I flew on the weekend, flew a Yak, fantastic, Yakolev. It's an aerobatic Russian warplane.
Put a call through to Richard.
To Richard,
to Mr. Branson for a gift.
Mr. Branson. You know what's funny about Mr. Branson? Where I live now, I live on the island of St. Croix in the US Virgin Islands. It's out in the Caribbean, and he owns an island on near Tortola. So the company that I work with and fly with and market for, I'm a bit of a marketing manager over there in the middle of nowhere. But we often take Mr. Branson, between islands. So right near his island. The interesting thing about Sir Richard Branson is that 100 years ago, a million years ago, when he launched Virgin Australia, I was on the inaugural flight. It was me and Krista Vendy, a good friend of mine at the time, who was a Neighbours soap opera star, and we were a bunch of us, Natalie and Brulia, we were the girls that were guests on the plane, and we flew the inaugural flight up the coast from Melbourne through Sydney through Brisbane. Then we had a big corroboree with Mr. Branson, and then a big party night, and that launched Virgin Australia. And I remember he said to me, Fiona, will you cast a spell on my airline to make sure it does well? And I said, I will, but I don't think you need the help, but I will do that, and it's done very well. He's a very nice man. He likes deli sandwiches. We get him deli sandwiches.
What are deli sandwiches?
They're massive American-style sandwiches with 14 slices of meat and 15
Mustard?
slices of, everything. You know, it's like a deli sandwich and a bit of everything. So we stock the plane with that when he needs a snack.
So it is true that you have either flown him or could fly him?
I could fly him in a single-engine land plane, yeah. I'm currently doing my instrument rating, and then I have about 198 hours now in single engine, so at 250 I'll go for my commercial, then multi-engine rating, and I'm not going to fly jets, I doubt that. I wouldn't rule it out if someone paid to put me through the thing, the course eventually, but for now I'm a single-engine pilot. land, and I'm expanding my ratings, growing my ratings.
You've admitted that you're edging towards 50.
I'm 47.
You're edging towards
yeah, it's kind of weird. People meet me, go, oh, they think I'm in my early 30s, and it's like, I just think it's funny, you know. I think the nice thing about, I always say we don't grow older, we grow better if we choose to, you know. The nice thing about being on the planet for a little while is you get more easygoing about stuff. You realise that you don't really need to sweat the small stuff. Everything gets worked out in the end. And if you can be, it might sound a little bit hippie and esoteric, but if you can try to stay in touch with being of service to others and being happy and being relaxed, then life works out just very nicely.
More from Fiona Horne in just a moment. Here on Radio Notes this evening. Thanks for your company. She's got a series of teenage witch books out. We'll have a chat about that in just a moment.
If you're dreaming a fresh fetish, but watch your feeling, feel the rhythm of the breathing, our tongues are circling, and speed is grinding, yeah.
Teenagers can be seen as getting less and less engaged with the world and with themselves in particular, which would concern you. There is a teenage book out called Witch.
Called Witch, a Summerland Mystery.
Can we talk about Bryce?
Bryce.
Will we fall head over heels for Bryce?
Well, it's the first of 4 books. God, thank God I haven't had to start writing the other 3 yet, but there's a whole big mystery that occurs. Bryce is like in this book, he's a pivotal character in the lead character Vanya's life, in that she learns a lot about love and life through him, but most importantly she learns that you can't love someone else until you love yourself. And that's her lesson. And I really tried, you know, it's interesting you mentioned how teens now are kind of disenfranchised and disconnected from the world in many ways. No, I agree. I think you're right. And when I wrote the book, I wrote her to try and help teenagers, or teenage girls in particular, feel that they can make a difference in their own lives, and by getting in touch with nature and by getting out in the world, just getting the sun on you, not sitting in a room, you know, Facebooking, Instagramming, Twittering, texting, whatever, playing video games, but actually getting out into nature and experiencing a natural shift of consciousness that's very positive and empowering. That's what I get her to do, you know, and she's, it's fun. It's like a kind of murder mystery love story. So. And
there is a bit of, as you say yourself, there's some real spells, some real witchcraft in there, because a real witch actually wrote it.
Yeah, that's right. So you can, they actually, if you want to do them properly, with magic being fueled by the intent and passion that you fuel it, then they can work. So yeah, there's the ultimate love spell in there. That's going to really hook the teens.
This tagline of being the number one witch, the go-to, as you said earlier in this chat, in America.
Favourite witch, world's favourite witch. Ryan Seacrest called me Fiona the Hot Witch about 8 years ago, and that stuck and got me a lot of leverage. It's funny how just one thumbs up from someone will come along, but spiritually, modern witchcraft, as I've practiced it with an eclectic approach but anchored in Wiccan principles, is something that I've been passionate about and exploring in my life for over a quarter of a century, probably. I mean, it's over 25 years.
And we've been there for at least 15 or 17 years.
Yeah, I kept it under the broomstick. I don't know, I've kept it quiet for a really long time. It wasn't until the band broke up in 1997, my first book, about it. And, you know, I was learning and exploring the craft as I was writing those books. I mean, there's been about 7, I lost count, like 7 or 8 books came out. The last big one about modern witchcraft, I guess, was Bewitch a Man, and that Simon & Schuster published that out of New York in, I think it was 2008. It was a while ago.
And that particular storyline, the women's magazines and stuff absolutely adore. It's something they can grasp onto.
Yeah.
Do you think they've respected that over the years, that they've actually understood this is serious? This isn't something to mess with?
It's an interesting point that you bring up. I mean, anything that sort of gives you a sense of purpose and even control in a way over your own place in the world can be a potent tool of transformation, I guess. And, you know, magazines will jump on things that have books like Bewitch a Man, How to Find and Keep Him Under Your Spell. But in that book, it was all about, again, appreciating yourself, getting in touch with who you are before, you know, until you know yourself, you can't really know someone else. So there was that angle, I think, did get promoted as a positive female empowerment kind of angle in the book, but overall it was a fun sort of niche thing to promote. But I guess my point is, what is it like now? Well, it's funny, I was talking to another very prominent witch who's very much in the front line of the media in America at the moment. His name's Christian Day. He's quite controversial. And there's so many shows now coming up about witches in a reality sense. It was always very hard. I was still the only witch to ever be on a reality show, on a repeating, you know, seasonal reality show. It was called Mad Mad House for the Sci-Fi Channel in the US, and which is produced by NBC Universal. And it was, I was still the only one. It's since then, and that was back in 2005, I think. And since then, it's been hard to get witches in reality because, as he and I were talking about, at the end of the day, Hollywood needs the evil witch. It needs that stereotype, needs that commercial, you know, entertainment-oriented, scary stereotype in order to sell the majority of their films. And if they start showing that witches, modern witches, are actually regular people with regular jobs who, you know, just have a spiritual and lifestyle approach to living that's a little bit different from the mainstream.
Historians disagree over the number of those tortured.
We got a little washed out by the announcement at the airport. We'll be back with Fiona in just a moment. And you can Google that particular TV series if you're so desired. Have a look at it.
Encouraging superstition and hysterical fear in the hearts and minds of a gullible, oppressed public. The accusation of witch became handy to any of those seeking to amass power and wealth, and really had anything to do with legitimate proof of any wrongdoing. But what kind of legitimate proof could it be when the charges were in hoarding black masses with the devil himself in attendance for turning into an animal and flying away? The charge against witches was also a direct charge against women because the malleus maleficarum declared that the powers of a witch came from carnal lust, and this was directly attributed to female sexuality. This is ironic considering the personal behaviour of the Pope who instigated this manual was quite carnal and lusty for his starchy side and numerous children. During this long period, pagan ways went underground and were likely practiced in secret, but not necessarily in any cohesive, organised way. Some modern witches believed that Wicca, the craft of the wise, was practiced intact over 400 years to enjoy resurfacing in the mid-20th century when new initiates such as Gerald Gardner and Doreen Valiente began to publicise the craft. According to the theory, covens such as Gardner and Valiente held the secrets of the old ways as they've been practiced for centuries. The more likely explanation, however, is the post-Gardnerian version of the craft is a reinvention with elements of the ancient reinterpreted and restructured for new generations. As much as old folk tunes are constantly rearranged for new audiences, by the way, people like Gardner and Valiente set about reinstating legitimacy and acceptance of the craft by making information available about this resilient and versatile spiritual power.
I did a solo album called Witch Web about 6 years ago, and then a spoken word album after that, which was spells and rituals.
Now, the one I played off of has got a lot of commentary about the history of witchcraft.
Yeah, that was Witch Web. That was the track
Yep.
Green Lights and Yes, and that's basically the history of witchcraft, like ripped through in 4.5 minutes.
But you don't get bored of it. Is it only 4.5 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
It
But
feels-
that's an actual chapter from my book that I recited, one of my books that I recited over music, yeah.
Because it feels long but not boring.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, I'd like to think there was some interesting information in there. But yeah, when you research the origins of modern witchcraft, it's quite fascinating. You know, like any spiritual path or even religion, I don't tend to use the R word very often, but,
Yeah.
you know, there's always a fascinating insight into social and cultural evolution
You can
of the
imagine
human
when I played that the
species.
phones went a little red hot.
Oh, God bless them.
And what are the next projects for you?
For me, the next projects are definitely to keep flying and keep getting all my ratings so that I can get my full commercial pilot status.
That's out of public life a lot.
Yeah,
You're going to enjoy that, aren't you?
Look, it's funny, over the years, it was one of the things I realised when I left LA. I only left LA May 1st of this year, on Beltane actually, in the Northern Hemisphere. May Day, I decided it was my own May Day and I needed to get out of LA. No, look, I love the entertainment industry and I've worked in it for a quarter of a century, since I was on stage at the age of 17 playing guitar in the Mothers or something. It's like, but I just wanted, I just want to change. I want my life to just be something that's more simpler, a simple life. And ironically, yeah, I operate heavy machines at altitude in flying planes, and I'm a marketing manager for a private aviation company out on the island. And I just really enjoy that. But funnily enough, I'm filming a TV thing next week here in Australia. I'm flying a small plane, a Cessna 172, into the outback for a show concept that will probably get shopped in Australia. So you might see me, I'll be like Steve Irwin, but with wings and a wand.
Which we can't talk about, obviously.
No, I just got to film it next week. So we'll see. Look, any excuse to come back to Australia. The nice thing about living on St. Croix is there is, in the Caribbean, like in any of the tropical environments, there is a down season. Our busy season is November through the end of April. And then we have these months of September and October are very quiet on the island. All the snowbirds, as we call them, leave. The island's population goes down by 3/4 because all the tourists are gone, and we have this quiet time, and that would be a time if we were to film a show I could come back here and do it. So
last night, 30-year friend Wendy.
Oh, Wendy, God bless her. Yeah, Wendy Hannum.
That's your Adelaide connection?
Yeah, she and I started a band here in Adelaide. This is where I got my music start, was Adelaide. Wendy and I formed Sister Sludge back in like 1983, and we used to play all the venues like Princess Berkeley and Hindley Street, like a ton of different venues, and it was grunge rock. We played with bands like Salamander Jim and the Johnnies, and it was a great time, and we could barely play our instruments, but we were just banging around, jumping around on stage, and just singing songs like Gravy Baby, and it was all very Cramps influenced, that kind of sound, I guess, grungy, gothic rock, I don't know, not even gothic, just grunge, before it's Nirvana. Now, Wendy and I have been good friends, and I think this is one of the lovely things about as we grow, maybe not older but better, you get to really treasure those original friendships, those shared memories. It's like a family that you create, and I feel I've travelled all over the world, I've lived all over the world, and I come back to Australia, I see my family and I see my friends, and people like Wendy just remind you that it doesn't suck to be a human. We can forge these beautiful relationships that are very enriching and rewarding, and I get to enjoy them even more now that I'm sober because I'm totally present. I'm not having a vino and feeling foggy. I'm like on it, and I love the sincerity and the authenticity of connection with people that you really love. It's great.
How has your body changed from being more health conscious?
I don't know, I'm fitter than I've ever been. It's funny, so many people think that as you age in years that you have to get unhealthy. You don't. You can actually get more healthy. My mum is 73. She had major lung operation 2 years ago. They removed a lump they thought was cancerous. It turned out it wasn't. She broke her shoulder the year before when she slipped and fell over in the garage. My mum's joined curves, lost 12 kilos, walks 10,000 steps a day, is so healthy, vibrant and vital, and I feel so blessed that my parents who are in their 70s and 80s are healthy, and we get to do beautiful things like go to the airport together last weekend. They live up in the Southern Highlands. We went to the airport, I flew a big Russian warbird, Mum, and we dumped all this smoke and did a smoke display. It was an aerobatic. It's actually the Russian Roulettes and Red Star Aviation. I made friends with them and they took me up, and it was a fantastic Russian aerobatic team that's based out of Australia. And I just was thinking, God, I'm so lucky that my parents are healthy, and as someone who's found some peace within herself and some sincere joy that doesn't have conditions, it's just I can live a happy life, a simple happy life. It's such a blessing. To share that with my parents is just, it's awesome.
We're in conversation with Fiona Horne of Deaf Effects, but also solo material like this, and also a published author. These days with heartache?
Heartache? Well, I'm not dating at the moment. I'm taking a break from dating.
You do seem quite vibrant.
You spend a lot of your life defining yourself by how others perceive you, and certainly as a woman, how your man in your life perceives you or other men perceive you. And I'm just really enjoying taking a break from all that and just, focusing on flying my planes, doing my yoga, doing my paddle boarding, you know, having amazing quality time with people that I sincerely love, and it's just a blessing, you know. But yeah, I'll date again at some point, but heartache is something I've had some interesting experiences with that in the last few years, and it's when you survive it, your life is always stronger and richer for it. You just got to get through it.
Inspiring writing at all, or have you just...
Oh, you know, I'm so busy on social media. I write things all the time on my Facebook fan page, my Fiona Horne Facebook fan page, and I like to make the things I write as, you know, they sort of come out from what's going on in my head and my heart, and it's inspirational, aspirational stuff to some people. So finding that very gratifying. There's a couple more workbook projects in the works. I'm always writing, even, you know, if I'm not flying a plane or, you know, marketing charter operations of private jets at this new job I've got, you know, I'm writing stuff. Stuff will come out. I love the freedom of the internet now. When I started in Def Effects, there was no internet. I think we were the first band in Australia to have a website.
But a lot of people are saying,
you know,
that that's the death of music as well.
It's the life of it.
How though?
It's the life of it, because anyone can, you know, it's a beautiful medium. Look, back in the day, I remember being in my first band, my girl mother's rock band, and we just wanted to put out a 7-inch single, and then we wanted to put out a 12-inch single, and then we, you know, like, it's just, you want to express music. Well, nowadays there's like, you can put it online, you have to be organised. To do it well, you've got to be organised. You can't just put crap up there and expect it to float. The good stuff comes through, and I think the freedom that modern technology offers us as creative people is just really exciting. I love it.
With the internet, that means the music is often free, and a lot of people aren't getting paid for their music.
Oh, look, we never got bloody paid as it was anyway. I got no money to show after Def Effects. You'd get money from doing gigs and stuff. I think it comes out in the wash. You can make more money selling a single at $1 a pop than you can having a bunch of albums sitting on a shelf that no one gets to see. I mean, more of my books have sold by ebook download than they have on the shelves. There's always that. It's just, life is shifting, and I'm very much a natural, organic person in my lifestyle practices, but I totally embrace modern technology and the way it can disseminate information
so my
and
point
creativity.
obviously being is the bands that are complaining that, oh, okay, we're not actually earning, they shouldn't be thinking so much about the earning, they should be thinking about the creative.
Yeah, I think so, because everything else takes care of itself. I mean, some people might go, oh, but I need money, I need this and that. I don't know, look, my own personal experience, money has never been a strong point with me. It comes and it goes. Like when the Def Effects broke up, I had no money to show for it. The band broke up under very poor management and poor circumstances, and I had nothing other than my life. And life and happiness and a smile on your face. Well, you know, no money can buy that. You got to work on that yourself. And I think just the joy of performing music. And look, you can be smart about it and use the internet and that environment to make money. You just have to be smart about it.
How can women be smarter in being themselves? One of my favourite feminist role models, because there's not too much gloss to the way you go about it. But share some knowledge with us on how feminists can actually be stronger. Wow,
I would say being a feminist is about being female, so don't sort of step away from any of the, you know, kind of behavioural or mindset traits, I guess, that would denote femininity, but you know, that can be, this is where it gets all very cross-pollinated, I guess. Yeah. You know, femininity is not gender specific, but I guess my point is, like, for women now, I like to, as a 47-year-old woman living my life on the planet and having found a sense of serenity and peace as I go into the second half of my life, I just think we have to, in order to live a fulfilled life, define ourselves by how we view ourselves, not by how society or others would. And sometimes that means taking time out. One of the things women have never been encouraged to do, I mean, put it in context, is like, if men got periods, there would be a mandatory 4-day break every month for men to go into their cave and restore and rejuvenate themselves. And I think as biological creatures, we are cyclical. We have times where we need to step away from life and step away from the roles as mother, daughter, sister, you know, whatever, wife, and be ourselves. And I think if there was some mandatory break for women, that they got some time to rejuvenate and restore, that would be a wonderful way of balancing our consciousness as a collective whole. But having said that, we can find that time for ourselves, you know.
that same line would be used of why women can't take leadership positions because they so much allegedly need this time out.
But men do too. You saw what happened this morning, John. It's like the bloody guys, they come to 2 pillars where the trolley won't get through with the base cases, and they all stand there like freaking out, wondering what to do and whether they go down. And I just picked the bloody cases off the trolley, walked them through the little gap, pulled the trolley through, stuck them back on, and we were in here in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, but you know what you did straight after that?
They would have stood there all day.
You grabbed their jaw and went, boom.
But on the road, I can't say anything like that because I'm the sole female travelling with a bunch of blokes, and yeah, you know, it's all good. Women, we, as it's been said, can multitask. I certainly, some sort of funny sexist stuff, I guess, comes up. Flying, I've said to people when they talk about whether women or men are better pilots of planes, I say, well, the plane doesn't know whether it's a woman or a man flying it. You just fly the plane. That's what I love about it. Someone's thought in circles and creative holistically, you know, for so long, to work in a very machine-oriented, mechanistic environment. If something goes wrong, there's a sequence of events, and you go back and you can see where something happened, the chain of events that, you know, created a problem, or you can fix something. And I love the mechanistic approach to flying. It's very balancing after spending so many years in the entertainment industry, purveying a very spiritual kind of circular approach to life. Now it's, for me, with work, it's like start, end.
And it's also multitasking.
There's so much multitasking that goes on in bloody planes. So if we're going to use that thing against women, we should say that we can actually operate complex machinery more effectively because we can do more than one thing at once. Speaking of which, I need to get on a plane as a passenger in a minute. I think my flight's going to be leaving soon.
I was about to say, where
everyone's checked in. We should probably...
Are they over there?
Yeah, they're over there.
Fiona Horne, absolute pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Fiona Horne recorded, well, live then at the Adelaide airport as she was waiting to board a plane. Let the boys log in and do the thing while we had a bit of a chat. Def Effects is still doing a couple of tours around Australia when they do. Fiona Horne has her website, fionahorne.com, with her books and everything else on it. And speaking about books, the book which has been recommended by none other than Danny Minogue. I have a copy for someone who's willing to subscribe or is a subscriber, 8313 5000. And if you're willing to subscribe, I'll throw in a signed Def Effects DVD as well. For those that don't know the number, it's 8313 5000 08 to get into Adelaide. Fiona Horne. Next week on the program, Hugo Race, and then the week after that, to round out the year, Jodie Phyllis of The Clouds, Once Upon a Time, and Miles Mayo, Once of Special Patrol. Back to the new releases, the latest one off a 7-inch here for Mere Women.